some water. But all right, everybody, we are live here right now. We're live. Welcome to another episode of Dope Black Thoughts. We're a lighter crew today, a leaner crew today, and I'm Hashim, also known as Shade, and
I'm Stefania.
Mike Carter, aka the Paperboy. Good evening, everyone. Welcome, everyone.
The lighter, more dedicated crew.
You have to say.
You know what? I threw that grenade, and I have not checked my email, my text since I threw the grenade. So,
I think we're witnessing Shade being contagious.
Right.
Let me see. But, good. Nothing bad. No.
We're here today on this Saturday. What's going on with you all? What's new in your lives? What's new in your minds?
What's going on today?
Because I'm stuck on a few things. I am stuck on COVID-19. There was an article that came out where there was a gentleman in Virginia who has tested. I'm sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. Every time I mention COVID-19, I told myself that I'm just going to take time out to acknowledge those who we have lost because of this epidemic. And I wanted to acknowledge those who survived the death sentence that COVID tries to hand out, but are now suffering with some other type of ailments or battle wounds from fighting this virus. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And I really critique our lack of leadership for that. But in the news last week, actually earlier this week, there was an article of a man who had super antibodies. Yeah. And so like he last year, close to this time last year, his household, he has a roommate who became infected with COVID and went through hell, basically. And this gentleman was worried that he had it, but it turned out through the testing that he has these super antibodies and that he might have actually been the one to transfer it over to his roommate. I think it's interesting because hopefully this gentleman is smart, because now they're looking to him probably to be a lab rat, and hopefully he remains safe because medical apartheid is still real in America. Have you guys heard anything about that story?
Briefly.
Okay.
Briefly heard about it.
Yes, briefly. But the only thing I'll bring up too, and I'm trying to remember the. Oh goodness, I apologize. Maybe you guys can help me. It was a treatment where I want to say John Hopkins. If I'm wrong, let me know. Where the individual had this female, an old woman, old Black woman, and they took her cells and they used her cells to treat, I want to say cancer. A type of cancer. I don't want to be wrong.
It was cancer.
And they never credited her, one, or compensated her, two. And it came out way after the fact. And it was a type of treatment that was used forever. So for this gentleman, if he does have these antibodies and they are useful, he needs to, one, get him out there, and two, make sure he's credited and compensated.
Right. So this is how love goes here at DBT. Stefania and I knew exactly who he was talking about, but we just let the brother sit out there and
just wave it in the wind.
Well, here's the thing.
Hey, we're rooting for you. Get him, Carter. We're rooting for you.
So, but here's the other thing. You have to remember too that we're on a Zoom, and cutting off each other interrupts the feed. So you kind of got to wait for you to finish. But you're right. It was about cancer. Oprah Winfrey did a movie about this lady and her family who, you're right, was never compensated. I'm looking for her name. Was
Henrietta
never compensated.
Lacks.
Thank you. See,
that's what it was.
There's the love.
Henrietta Lacks.
Yeah. Yep. So that happened. But you know what also happened? America is finding out that we don't have the stockpiles of vaccine.
That's what you need to talk about.
that Operation Warp Speed said we would have. I guess it moved at such a fast warp that it just shot right on by. Right.
Right.
They forgot something.
So my question to that is will there ever be, will he ever be punished for the lies that he has told the American people? Like, we're all waiting for this vaccination, and to find out that he's lied about stockpiles, which did he ever even have them, let alone, run out of them? But he told that lie.
You're asking if he'd be punished. Now, if for somehow the requirement to have a law degree can be had for the AG, and I was appointed in that position, yes, my sister, he damn sure would be punished. Maybe a way around that is appoint me for a head of Homeland Security or NSA, right? Like,
there you go.
He still would be punished.
Yeah. How many lies that he's perpetrated on the people, and we suffer. I think there was another story, Hashim, that broke about a young man who took both vaccines, both doses of the vaccine, and a week later tested positive for COVID, even with taking both doses. So I don't know if he did everything possible as far as social distancing, wearing his mask, and I know that they say it takes 1 to 2 weeks for the doses to take their full effect, but he did take both doses and tested positive.
Well, he took both doses at once?
No. He did it correctly. He took the first dose and spaced it out and took the second dose like he was supposed to. And then a week after taking the second dose, he tested positive for COVID.
Oh no, like that's not enough time. He was good between 1 and 2, but after 2, you have to wait.
You have 1 to 2 weeks before it takes their full effect. And
so I guess he was one of them 2 weeks if he tested positive after 1 week. But also, I mean, it's like we're human. And I, this is my I statement, have not done everything that I could have or probably should have done to make sure that I was COVID safe compliant. But like those things have to be taken into factor. Like he could have got that one vaccine, the first vaccine, and anything up in between 2, if he was acting a fool, acting recklessly, then it's going to mess with what happens when he gets the 2.
So that's what I said. We don't know what he was doing, whether he was social distancing or not, or whether he was doing everything he was supposed to do and still tested positive. Have you taken the first dose?
I know I'm old, but damn.
you are in special need.
You had that kind of pull.
My number ain't came up yet.
I thought you had that kind of pull. You were the one, talking about you were taking it. You're ready to take it. And I thought you knew somebody.
I'm gonna take it. Listen,
on that comorbidity list, black and old,
and fat.
Oh, comorbidity.
That came out of my mouth.
I own it right here. I do a shameless plug for anybody that's trying to be like, they want to do an experimental physical training type of thing with me. Like, hey, let me be your case study and get some free reps off of me. I follow instructions well. I just need the instructions.
So you're ready.
I'm wrecked.
Gotcha.
But I haven't taken any of the vaccines. I am willing to take the vaccine. My group has not come up that's going to be eligible to take the vaccines. Even if it does, if it comes up before June, guess who's not taking the vaccine before June?
And why is that?
So it's a balance, right? It's my belief in science and my skepticism, right? I just need to see some more like what's happening to folks. And it's so weird.
Long-term data is what you want to see?
Yeah, I won't ever hit the long term unless I wait 2 years. But there's some skeptics, and I have a hard time, and I'm like, this should have been one of our things that we said offline with just us. Because, listen, if they said Hashim now or never, I would do the now. I would take it now. I wouldn't let it pass. And I'm just simply saying, like, people always like to share these articles and information like, oh, see, so-and-so died from a shot. And I'm like, so if one person died and millions have lived, that's kind of how the law averages work. But I hate when people say, well, if that's the case, the same could be said about not taking the vaccine. I'm like, no. The logic dictates we're trying to prevent people from dying. So yeah, I don't like giving any type of fuel to that type of wrong word, loose-laced type of thinking.
Carter, you were going to say something.
My mother has already taken the vaccine. And my mother actually got COVID.
I'm sorry.
Over the summer. And that was just, and then basically, back then it was like, okay, 2 weeks, we'll know. As in 2 weeks, she'll be here or she won't. And that's, yeah. And so because of that, she got it when I was in Texas. When did I get back? Right before the first. So she got it that week she got it, bam, bam. And she's getting ready to come up on her second one. And so I'm just kind of, and it's that whole thing too. I'm not anti-vaccine. I'll take it. As soon as I get it, I'll take it. As soon as we get, there's a petition to get, because we're in and out of the jail so much, in and out. I'm in touch with a high risk population so much to push us up to the front.
What are they doing for that population? Like, are they?
You know what? That's a good question.
They're at the very bottom.
Yeah.
But like, how? Because you're going, like, you go all over.
Dude, think about it. This is not even hard. Let me get this out. This is not hard.
Mm-hmm.
It was based on there's certain groups of people who it's not cool to be friends with, not even be friends with. They don't have lobbyists. There's a certain group of people that don't have lobbyists. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And that population has the least amount of people getting in front of judges, medical doctors saying that these people need to be vaccinated. That I know. I mean, the fact that I'm in and out of that place and we have to petition to get moved up should tell you that population is not going to be moved up in,
no,
if not last, pretty close to it.
Yeah, but my issue is, like, I know you go all over as criminal defense, but you're going to county jails, right, where people are awaiting trials, where there hasn't been a conviction. One is inhumane. Two, yeah. I almost think it's immoral and illegal and anti-constitutional, if you ask me. Like, I just can't afford bail. Or I have been denied bail. Or, like, whatever reason. I'm here, but I'm not convicted, right? So I don't even fit your whole BS narrative of prisoners aren't humans and prisoners shouldn't get it, right? I'm waiting trial. I'm waiting conviction. I'm innocent.
I agree with that 100%.
Well, no. Not only are you innocent until proven guilty, remember, we had this conversation 2 times ago. Your trial keeps getting continued.
Yes. I mean, this motivates me to want to go to law school so that I could sue the hell out of the systems on behalf of these people that, like, hey, I've been good for the past 7 months of this COVID stuff. And now, because you kicked my trial, now I actually get infected with COVID. I live, but I have lung damage. There's a study out there about that people have lung damage. Like, man, like,
it's
just horrible. It's horrible.
Right. And Arapahoe was a cesspool for COVID for a minute there. The public defender's office had several of their attorneys get it. And then the jails, several cases.
It's a snowball. It is a complete snowball effect. But I'll Jaden, if you're listening, it's a snowball effect. They had an outbreak in the Department of Corrections, not the county court, the Department of Corrections. All right. So these are like Lincoln County, Sterling, Buena Vista, not Canyon City, but not Florence.
Right.
Not the place we're hoping our friends go. Not Florence, but the state. And the thing, I mean, these are out in the hinterlands. that population, if you work at Sterling Prison, there's nothing else around Sterling, right? That's all there is. So if you work at Sterling Prison, there's no backup, right? You can't go out and just hire a bunch of new people if somebody gets sick. If you work at one of these DOC facilities and you as a guard get sick, well, we can't just fill in.
Yeah.
So what happens when there's a shortage of guards at DOC facilities?
There's an increased shortage of guards because there's already a shortage of guards.
So
Think
you know
about-
what happened?
Go ahead.
But
the prisoners are the ones who suffer. So now they are locked down for 23 to 24 hours out of the day, which is absolutely inhumane. They're not allowed to come out of their cells all day until they can get guards in to increase to give them their time out.
well, you know, the bullshit mindset. If you can't do the time, don't do the crime.
Yeah,
I don't subscribe to that. I think that's so wrong. And I think it's incredibly short-sighted and selfish for them not to give it to the prisoners. Like people say, okay, give it to the guards, right? If you give it to the guards will be protected. Give it to everyone that meets the damn criteria. Like just spread it out and be humane with it. But we're facing a deficit of this stuff now. So when you see that some school district teachers have got it over other school district teachers and staff and faculty or whatever, you're like, how the hell did that happen?
Do we
How
even
did
need to
Douglas
ask
County
Put
get
the
it
shade cap
before
on.
anybody else?
Right.
Put the shade cap on.
Yeah.
As of January 19th, make sure I get the date right. Aurora, not Cherry Creek. And we should one day sit down and have a conversation how Cherry Creek has.
Oh, that was Creek. That's right.
We should sit down and have a conversation how Cherry Creek School District has a certain half of Aurora.
Yes.
And then a certain other half of Aurora is Aurora Public Schools. Aurora Public Schools goes back to hybrid learning on the 19th. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Their teachers have not been moved up. They're still category 1B, or they're not 1A, they're 1B, I think. Right. So the teachers are going. They've been in the classrooms. Now they're going to start having students. I mean,
but Douglas County is what I'm hearing has already gotten their teachers vaccinated.
Cherry Creek. It was Cherry Creek School District. I messed Douglas County, Cherry Creek, Peace Pipe, Crack Pipe, Tomato. Ah!
There is a difference. There is a difference.
Now.
Well, no. There is a difference.
You're right. Cherry Creek has more of us in it than Douglas.
Exactly.
Thank you, Aurora.
But if you guys ever want to just look at something truly interesting, look at Cherry Creek School District lines.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's odd. It would appear that there's a certain neighborhoods that are on the Cherry Creek School District that aren't on the Aurora School District. No shade tonight. I'm in a good mood, but it'd be real interesting that we should take a look at them Cherry Creek School District.
I live in one of those districts, and they don't. Some parts of them don't even want to be known as Aurora. They want to go by Centennial, unincorporated.
I refuse to voice my discontent with a gesture because my producer's on. But yeah, it's some BS. That's a
whole nother show.
It's political and it's monetary. Go ahead.
So when you're talking about the producer, you kind of triggered me a little bit because I know the producer is. Shout out to the producer, Jaden Carter.
J-Dog.
But when you're like, I want to watch my language. So as a kid, I was raised by my mom, right? Single parent. And my mom, man, she was a spitfire. I mean, just hammer. When it was time to be a hammer, she was an efficient hammer. So she'd be firing off at me, blah, 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 blah. Then all of a sudden, ring.
Oh,
hello. And I'm like, hello?
Because
who is this woman? Who is this? Yeah. So me being, this is who I am. Like, I am who I am. I'm wired this way. I'm like, nah. And I'm loud. Nah, use the same voice you were using before you picked up the phone.
Didn't that catch you? Did you catch a hand? Yeah, did you catch a hand?
But the ends justify the means.
No. No. And now that you're grown, what do you think?
Power to the people.
Look, hey, there's a hierarchy. There is a hierarchy. My mama's here. I'm way down here. But if mama dear call or best mama call, you best believe.
Yeah, Chef.
You gonna tell it?
It's Chef.
For drinking all the Snapple. And mama dear call, and all of a sudden, let Pawpaw get on the phone.
Yeah.
Tell Pawpaw how you I want to talk to Pawpaw. Trying to get on the phone. Like, let me talk to him.
Yes. The power of grandparents.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. And kids wouldn't be spoiled if people would just spank grandma and grandpa.
Well,
let me give you this one story real quick. When I was a little kid, I was probably old. I was 7th, 8th grade, right? Okay. We moved to a new neighborhood. It was a different, what's the word I'm looking for, Hashim? I went from one kind of neighborhood to another kind of neighborhood.
Like the Jeffersons moving on up?
Yes.
All right.
So we moved on up. Needless to say, I bucked. But back then, God bless America. Because back then, if you beat the postman home, you could beat the report card and you could beat if they had a referral, if they had a Saturday D Hall slip, all you had to do was beat the mailman home. Booyah, it disappears. I lost the fight. I lost the race. I didn't beat the mailman home.
Oh.
My mama got the mail. Right? But it was one of them things where my father came home later. So she called me up to be like, hey, you know what's about to happen, right?
No, tell me you didn't have nothing to worry about, Carter. Tell me.
Oh, she called me up, so you know what's about to happen.
She pulled a Bill Duke.
I got this.
A Bill Duke, you know you done messed up, right?
Thank you, Bill. Oh, thank you. You know they messed up now. But that's not it. What got me was, so I went in and we talked about it, put on the extra pair of underwear, prepared myself for the confrontation, the battle of good and evil, Ragnarok. And so what that man did, because I was playing checkers. My stepdad, my dad was playing chess.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He goes, you know what I want you to do? When I got home, call your grandfather and tell him what you did. I'm like, whoa.
Ooh.
Wait a minute.
Ooh.
I'm cold-hearted. Yeah. And when you say, you done bleeped up now, I'll put Pawpaw on the phone. Pawpaw, blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what's about to happen, right? You know what's about to happen, right? Put mama there on the phone. Told him what it did. Well, you know what's about to happen, right? I'm like, you know what? That was my story of, you didn't bleep up now.
Got you.
I will say.
But as we're talking also about grandparents, I was reminded of someone from my grandfather's generation. From the generation of the World War II generation, Tuskegee Airmen. We lost a Tuskegee Airman. He was 100 years old. Hopefully he lived a full life. He lived a long life. But we lost him to the complications of COVID-19. And, which ties back into my whole thing why I hate to say, like, I'm gonna wait. Like, I don't like for that to be public record because we are being devastated. This thing is ravaging through our communities and it's knocking out our treasures. It's destroying families. And for those who live through death, then are suffered with horrible side effects, horrible, repercussions of the virus. So
it's cutting out our roots. Just to be completely simple and straightforward. It is, I mean, the list of people I've lost, like I said, from Texas, and the list of people, and it's that, you know, if this is an oak tree, it's not the branches up top or the leaves or the youngsters. It's like the roots, like the generation before me and before them are the ones who are just disappearing on us.
Yeah.
And to think it's going to get worse because we now are shorted on the vaccines that we need to vaccinate our population.
And things are opening back up though. Yay.
Right? Super spreader events are still happening. Things are opening back up. And yet we don't have the vaccines.
Right. You know, the Tuskegee Airmen that you just brought up, a lot of them settled here.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of them settled here in Colorado, Aurora, Denver. I believe there is a highway. One of the highways is known as the.
I believe there's a stretch of. It's between I-70 and 225, like around, I believe in that area, there's a stretch that's given the title over to the acknowledgement to the Tuskegee Airmen. Yeah.
That's a really small stretch. We need to make that bigger.
Why not take all the Ronald Reagan highway?
I mean, like dude, yeah, exactly. We can, as you hit the Ronald Reagan exit.
Right?
like, I know we ain't supposed to take what we can get, but
here we have Stapleton, who has this, you know.
We ain't going to Stapleton tonight, are we?
Hey, but speaking of respecting talking about our elders and respecting our elders, that's a good segue into another topic. And did anyone catch the Gayle King interview of the young woman who accosted the man with the cell phone?
Do we want to talk about that?
Of the woman that attacked the child with the cell phone?
Mm-hmm.
Child, 14-year-old child.
Maya Pancetto.
Mm-hmm.
Did
that white woman.
That interview?
I missed it. I couldn't watch the interview when it was coming on. You know, I try to like have 3 hours of peace when I wake up. And I couldn't disturb that peace to watch that. Yeah.
When your lawyer, she's sitting there with a lawyer. When your lawyer does this.
Right. I thought that was her mother. But
that was her lawyer. When your lawyer does that, it's a wrap.
You messed up.
Like,
you know you messed up.
You messed up. We need our Bill Duke Award. You know you done messed up now.
Hopefully that family cha-ching, I don't know how much she got, but take it all.
Yeah, she's still trying to play that victim role. She tried to hush Gayle King.
Dude,
tell us about it.
Gayle King.
Hold on, Stefania, tell us about it. Break it down for us.
So in the course of the interview, Gayle King is asking her, you know, she's letting her to do most of the talking, but at one point in time, Gayle King says, your cell phone wasn't even stolen, and they're, you know, going back and forth, and she goes, Gayle, that's enough. And I was like, ooh, you know, Black people, we all cringe. Like,
that's Gayle King. That's the right hand of Oprah.
Right?
like
Thor. And just the fact that it was like a child, a 22-year-old hushing this grown woman, like this wisdom. I was like, ooh, no, don't hit her. Don't hit her.
Don't hit her, Gayle. It ain't working.
Don't do it, Gayle. You know, we watched her interview her now, and we watched her when she interviewed R. Kelly, and she was so calm and cool and collected when he stood up on her. I was like, ooh, if they would have been in person, I could just imagine this.
We need Gayle to interview Trumpito. We need Gayle to interview.
He don't want that. He don't want that
smoke.
Listen.
Jaden, thank you. We don't want that smoke. Right, Jaden?
You guys are downplaying Gayle's skill. Like, that's Black woman skill. Like, she lives sitting by the wish factor. Like,
not the hope factor. The wish factor.
With that R. Kelly thing, I seen that look before. Like, I wish you would. I swear I wish you would.
Yes. Like, you better set it on down.
She got Oprah credibility. I will put you under the jail, R. Kelly. I'm doing you a favor. Oh.
So we're waiting to see what the fallout is going to be with Maya Pancetto. She's of course out. She was charged, but we're waiting to see how you know.
I think we just need to acknowledge she's a child, mentally, and she's a child.
Or do we call it a child or privilege? Although now she's acknowledging
she's Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican. Not white, yeah.
Same
She's
difference. She's a white Puerto Rican. Like,
she one of them light skin.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm about to do my course. I'm about to put out the link, the invite out there, so y'all can sign up for my course on the levels of whiteness.
Yes.
Like,
yes,
you ain't got to be
Cubans.
white to be white.
The Cubans that voted for Trump, that said that they were not Hispanic.
Right. Okay. And it's about passing. Like, how is she treated in Puerto Rico? Her, and how are people that look like me that are Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico treated, right? Like, you got to break that down because it matters. Yeah. But don't go reaching for this. But it does two things, right? It pisses me off that she tries to reach for this BIPOC type of thing, this people of color type of thing now. But what it also does is it shows how non-white, non-black, right? If you ain't white, you ain't black, y'all folks in between can still be racist and anti-black.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we really, because we it's dope black thoughts, and all of us are from here ish. When I say here, like America, United States. We don't have Marcus. Marcus is from Indiana, and Kevin's from Texas. I'm from Texas.
I'm Texas too.
Where you from, Hashim?
Africa.
We
all from Africa.
Hey, go ahead. Go ahead. Cut his mic.
Yeah, because
you know what? We need a penalty box.
Africa, by way of where were you born? I'm not an old man.
We need a penalty box for Hashim.
When people normally ask, like, where are you from? I'm like, my mother's womb.
Oh, Jesus.
But I was born in Colorado.
Thank you.
My people, yeah. But what that mean? I'm going to let you walk this out. What that matter?
All I was saying was we all have a commonality to us. Okay? Right? There are Afro-Caribbean and Caribbean countries where there is a difference between Cuban, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Haitian, Jamaican. There's a level where Cubans feel differently about race, whereas Haitians feel differently about race. There's not a monolith. When they start talking about this Hispanic culture, Cubans do not identify as not Hispanic, but as they're above certain other levels of Hispanic. There's Mexicans.
That's this proximity thing.
There's Mexicans and there's Cubans. And while for some reason everybody wants to call them all Hispanic, there is a drastic
racist difference. Ass Nixon.
Well, there's a drastic difference between a Mexican American and a Cuban American, up to and including how they got here and how they think. But
in Spanish, like people
in
from
Spanish,
Spain.
yeah.
That's like the third rail of I'm not Mexican American, I'm not Cuban American, I'm Spanish. My ancestors come from Spain.
Conquistadors.
Yeah,
that's different.
But however you break that down, they hate black wherever you go.
Yeah.
Like
Dominicans, Haitians, we're cool with Haitians.
Okay, like this is what I'm saying. And hear me out, right? And it's not scientific because they won't fund my research. But the Black American is hated by every other culture, race, populace in the world. The propaganda that they give about us in the Caribbean, in Africa, in South America, in the Central Americas, like it's all the propaganda that we're lazy, that we don't work, that we don't do anything, that we're violent, that we're stupid, that we're slow. And so you come here, the first time I got called a nigger by an African, it blew my mind. I'm like, what? And I'm like, your broken English ass has the nerve to speak on this country that my people gave their lives for, and you come here to benefit, and you're gonna call me that racist ass word?
If I may,
from an African, not a Mexican, or it blew my mind when it happened from a Mexican, but
yeah, and they love to use the word too, right?
I just want to comment on Hashim being a patriot. Hashim all of a sudden wrapped himself in the flag.
Why not?
There
We
you
picked the
call
cotton
me.
to make the damn flag.
I know that's right.
That's my damn
no.
flag.
Central Texas. Well, there's a large Ethiopian population here in Aurora, but Central Texas has a large immigrant African population, and it was very interesting because I thought we were all here, and we weren't.
Not until they need something, right? Like, and that's a blow.
Michael Jackson effect.
When something happens, I'm Black. When something's not happening, I am my specific nationality that ain't Black, right? And I'm like, ain't this about nothing?
We're convenient.
It is very convenient, but it also speaks to white supremacy and the assimilation and the illusion of whiteness, right? But like I say, Black people,
the assimilation.
Mm-hmm. They assimilate through the hating technique, and it just blows my mind. Everybody does. Every group, as you get from the epicenter of whiteness, everything you break out does that. If I can just do this, then I can be white. When you look at how the American immigration system has worked, everyone that came over, right, that was through Ellis Island, went through this conditioning process before they could become white. And that conditioning process included how horrible can you treat Black people?
That was one of them. Yeah.
Once that level is checked, then here, we like to give you this certificate, and this certificate says that you are full white, right? So it really bothers me, and I'm just troubled by the entire thing, but it's a touchy thing because people don't want to hear it. And then you have groups, like there was a Latino guy that wanted to jump in and be like, well, Black Americans are racist towards Africans. I was like, first of all, you white appearing Latino boy, shut the hell up, right? And back up from that. And then you need to understand, you don't have a firm grasp on this. Just because you can spell racism doesn't mean that you can grasp the context and the nuance of racism, and you speak upon things that you really don't have an understanding. And you doing that is nothing more than you being anti-Black. That comment wasn't even needed, right? You're diverging from a whole entire point we were talking about of how racism works. So
I don't want to go down this road.
Then don't.
Even oh Jesus.
Which Jesus? Black Jesus or white Jesus?
Oh Lord.
Because in the Evans household, there was a difference.
Good times, Black Jesus. All right. Hey, Jaden, find me Good Times, Black Jesus. That being said, there is
was born in Bethlehem, which is where?
Chicago.
South side.
We don't need to put Jesus in a box.
That being said, even in the reason stepping out and being in New Mexico, watching it from, I mean, I was Black, so they just steal. But then watching how there was a hierarchy of, and there were Mexican Americans. My parents came here illegally. I was born here. I'm a Mexican American. There were illegal immigrants. And then there were people who said they were from Spain.
We better than all y'all. Picky up Spain.
Right.
My uneducated eyeballs, everybody looked alike.
Back then.
And I had to learn that there was a difference.
Yes.
But
so how do you do that with us?
I don't know. Because I don't know.
Here's the key though. They were all forced to assimilate or chose to assimilate when they first came over here. Every single one of them chose to assimilate under the whiteness. They lost their culture, they lost their languages, and then they had to be retaught later on.
I don't understand that part of it. That like why would you? I get the assimilation, whatever, blah blah blah, but the giving up of the culture, assimilation is going to happen.
But Carter said, Hashim said it. When they came over from Ellis Island, the mentality is do you fit in our society? So straighten up your English. There will be no broken English, or otherwise you're not recognized as American. And you accept our customs and our ways, which means lose your language, lose your culture, and pick up this culture if you want to be known as an American and a patriot. So they lost it, just like well, ours was beat out of us.
Yeah.
They took our names.
So so when you look at it and you're like, damn, that's how they treating Black people over there? That ain't me. That ain't me. What do I need to do? Don't treat me like that. Right. So you have that aspect that ties into it. But as we were talking earlier, I think someone had mentioned about how Latinos, or they said Mexicans or Hispanics, how non-white, non-Black people use the word nigga. It bothers me, right? It strikes
use it like they've been here the whole life.
Right? Like they are one.
Like they grew up.
Yeah. Perhaps that was part of the course when they came up from Ellis Island. Use this word.
It could be, or it could just be like, or not. Like when you have people that are indigenous to this land, or they have indigenous roots, right? You can trace that, and they pick up that word, and it's like, oh, that's how I grew up. I'm like, oh, but where's the twisted T when you need one, Lord? But
you already said it though. You already said it.
Yeah, but even in this,
you need to take on. You want to be American? Bam. We got the capitalism. Cool. We love money. Cool. Oh yeah, you hate Black people. Bam. Now you're American, and it was. That's how you become part of, ingrained in. This is what you need to do.
Yeah, but like Paul Mooney said though, everybody want to be a nigga till it's time to be a nigga.
Right?
Cool.
Right?
Shoes.
Yeah. I want him on the show. Who can reach out to Paul Mooney?
Oh, well, listen, Paul, I would love to, but he's in a state of mind now that there's no coming back from. I think he's suffering from dementia, and I don't know how advanced it is. But yeah.
Did you hear when he went off about Richard Pryor and Godfather? Who's the Godfather?
James Brown?
Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando, okay.
Oh, that Godfather.
That Godfather, yeah.
When Paul Mooney started telling tales about Richard Pryor and...
Well, if Richard Pryor says... So...
here we go. I knew it.
I didn't hear
it. Took you 45 minutes, Hashim. So...
I haven't heard this, so enlighten me.
Listen... First of all, I'm not giving like any shade or anything like that. But if you go back, if you're a Richard Pryor fan, a true Richard Pryor fan, it is not surprising if you hear that Richard Pryor engaged in same-sex sex. Like he stated before, I believe the term he used was faggot or sissy when he does his comedy thing. But he's talked about he's had interactions with them, with other men. And he was raised basically in a brothel, right? In a hoe house. But he was raised in a brothel.
Yeah, we didn't have brothels. We had hoe houses. Right. I'm looking for the brothel. You don't want to. Oh, you mean the hoe house?
A hoe house, right.
Trying to make it pretty. Go ahead.
Yeah, but so he was raised there, so that's not new. Paul Mooney, I believe, also was a practitioner of that type of recreational activity as well. And Marlon Brando was too.
Marlon Brando was a freak.
Yeah, because him and James Baldwin had some encounters, if my memory is serving me correctly as well.
I have to look that one up. I know there was some stuff going on out of country when they were expatriates in France.
Yes.
I'll have our listeners look that up if you want. I'm not going to have Jaden look that one up. I'll have our listeners look that one up.
Okay.
It was in France. They had witnessed him coming out like the story I was talking about, they were coming out of one of these places where that type of activity took place.
Man, we need a dope Black Thoughts reading list.
For the low price of a monthly membership of $19.99.
Well, I ain't writing the books. I just want you to read them.
Right. You can sign up to receive the Dope Black Thoughts reading list. I'm looking for a phrase. I'm frantically looking for a phrase that I heard. let me see if I can find it. But it kind of talks about the bro hole.
The bro hole.
Yes. Have you all heard of that?
Nope. Aiden, turn off your mic. And your
yes. You're like, yeah, mic off. Sure, Dad.
Right.
He's not listening.
A bro hole, is a hole that is to be used only by your best friend in the time of need. It's not gay. It's not gay. Not if you don't push back.
Interesting. Part of that came out with Quincy Jones was part of that
circle.
Yes, if you will.
Listen, so you have
but I know Quincy
people,
Jones is a freak too.
Well, like, let's not, is freak a judgmental word, or is freak one of those words that is, hold up, it's in the black lexicon
like
of
Rick
how
James.
we label things, like, oh, freak.
Like Rick James freak, like,
yeah.
Tip of the cap to you, sir.
You should realize, like, outside, over in this world, certain words that we use here are looked at as like derogatory and demeaning.
Not circus freak, like tip of the hat to you. Woo!
Like you did some things.
Like don't drink behind him type of freak.
like
Get you a different glass type of freak.
Hey, man. If Quincy Jones give you a drink.
But
like, not only are you tasting the rainbow, you in the whole candy factory.
No. Like Cosby. Cosby freak, but not cool freak.
No, I got you. Okay. When you say rainbow, listen, y'all gonna learn some stuff here on Dope Black Thoughts.
No, not that rainbow. I'm talking about like.
Okay. He got to hit you with taste the rainbow.
That rainbow I love. So
No. Pause. Okay. Just trust me
okay.
on this.
Go ahead.
I'm not yucking anyone's yum, but I want you to look up Rainbow Kiss before you say that's the rainbow you love.
Jay, look up Rainbow Kiss.
Actually, you might not want him to.
Okay. Jaden, pause.
All right, belay that order.
He's like, too late.
Jaden, you might want to just log off the show today.
Jaden, we're doing better than what the schools are doing.
Hey, right? They could
coming down the stairs. I think he came down the stairs to quit. No.
But through all of this, though, it brings up a point that I feel that I have a theory that sexuality is fluid, right? I feel that natural sexuality is fluid. I believe it's a spectrum and we land in different places, but I believe that society was like, nope. And this is my truth. Like, this is what you are. If you do this once, this is what you are. You can never leave this, right? And so I am same gender loving, but I've all had curiosities about the other side. But I'm like, how could I ever approach a woman of, let's try this when this is what I've been doing the past 10 years? Like, it just gets so gray and murky. But I blame that on colonialism. I blame that upon society and just this whole oppression breeds oppression type of mentality. And when we look at something like prison sex, like, I'm a firm believer that prison sex does not equate to gay sex. Gay is a lifestyle. And if an activity happens in prison, I believe some of those type of things are happening based upon necessity as opposed to this is who I am. That's interesting. But with all that said, whatever it is, put condoms, put safety in prisons. Because HIV rates are still occurring, infection rates are still occurring in prison.
Sister Gallegos?
Yeah. I have no words. I am at a loss for words. I agree with you to a point, Hashim. I think, but here's the thing: I think everybody has a type, and if you don't have a type, if you're not put in a box, then you do what you do. But some people just have a type. It's like I like people with blonde. Like it's like when you have a type for blonde hair, you have a type for dark skin. The Kardashians Kim Kardashian has a type. You know what I mean? So God bless her for that. But over and above that, if you don't have a type and you're willing to be fluid, then be fluid. No one can tell you what to do with you.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Jaden. You can take that down. I wanted to It was coming on what we were talking about.
You got to give the man better directions, Pops.
I'm sorry. It was a movie called The Soldier Story. We were talking about, because the whole issue of this happening over in France. And one of the things that is well documented, and that's one of the movies that'll kind of go through it. There were Black soldiers, all through World War II, And at the end of World War II, they realized they were freer in France than they were getting on those planes and coming back to America. Right. And one of the things, I cannot remember the book, but that's a great movie that you could watch. It kind of shows how they were literally transporting prisoners of war, German prisoners of war, right? White German prisoners of war and Black veterans, all right? And you can think, who got to sit in the front of the bus? And that whole, we were free, they were freer over in France to do all kinds of things. And then they come back here and they still have that increased level of racism that even war criminals have more power. War criminals have more power than a Black veteran of World War II.
And here's what I want to say, as far as my statement for anybody who's watching and knows my background. Yes, I have a strong relationship with my church. And so that coming from a person who's from the church who says, do what you do. Don't come at me talking about homosexuality is a sin. I don't want to hear it, because there are many sins. And if you're not going to confront all the sins, then I've seen, people talking about, homosexuality and the church being so separate. But that's, how are you going to separate homosexualities from a church when you don't separate alcoholics and you don't separate drug users? And the church is not supposed to be perfect. So for anybody who's listening for me, don't come for me, because, God is a forgiving God. He's a loving God. He said, with love and kindness have I drawn thee. Let's go. Let's keep it there.
As you sit there, I was raised Southern Baptist. What Sister Gallegos?
I was raised missionary Baptist.
Hey, missionary. What?
Yeah. So listen, if don't come for her. Catholic. I made the comments. By all means, I welcome.
Come for him, please.
I welcome the dialogue. Yeah, and come for me the Oxford Dictionary spelling way.
Is that R-E-R or A?
C-O-M-E.
Let's switch. We have but a little bit of time left. I want to switch gears one more time, if y'all don't mind.
No.
Now, who heard about in the news of the New York police, the police man who was over the equal opportunity
didn't hear this, please.
Division of the New York Police Department, who was actually a white supremacist. He is over the equal opportunity department of the New York Police, and is a white supremacist. Now, how are you doing your job? How are you doing your job?
I can say something real quick. He's doing the job that they wanted him to do.
Well, and here's the thing.
If you don't want equal opportunity, you put that guy in charge of the equal opportunity unit.
Right. But that's everywhere. We can't be surprised.
Yes. Damn it. I posted the article on my Facebook page. I got to do a better job with saving these articles.
His name is nonetheless, James Coble.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, it happened. I agree with both of you. Like, how do you do that? But you do that because you want to derail it. And my critique is like, this whole kumbaya stuff that we have, can't we all just get along? No, we can't. We can't all get along until this happens. And so we feel...
What's wrong?
I'm at a loss of just trying to focus on this, because it's like, it's not so much that when we look at look at me, when I look at my career is not as advanced as it should be, not because I'm so pro-Black, it's that I'm not anti-Black enough, right? I'm not willing to like let certain things go by and not comment on them. And I feel it's those type of people, right? It's the people that see the things, the people that can read the tea leaves and see around corners and have the good spirit of discernment that need to be in these positions. How do you have the equal opportunity center or fund or group, whatever, this anti-racism group in the New York Police Department, the second largest police department? I get torn between them and LA. They might be the first or the second. Anyway,
LA has more territory.
Okay, LA is the largest for territory, but New York is the largest for numbers. How is this person a white supremacist? Right? Like, and it's structured. So who allowed him to be this? Because if someone allowed this to happen, oh, what are they?
Right. I agree with Carter.
I'll give you two names.
Go ahead.
Betsy DeVos. You want to destroy the Department of Education? You give it to Betsy DeVos. You want to destroy the Department of Energy? You give it to Rick Perry.
Pick one. Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want...
Yeah. You want to destroy HUD?
I don't...
If you want to secure
gifted hands, they gave it to gifted hands.
EPA, like any of those seats, any of the secretary positions who they were given to were done by either bona fide racists or racist enablers.
I mean, but that trickles down. I don't know why we're surprised about that, because we already know who you know, how our prosecutors are picked, and you know, if how the prosecutors are picked over, you know, our government, are the governors and the mayors and the prosecutors are all picked. Why are we surprised that we had a white supremacist over, you know, equal opportunity, anti-racism departments in our police departments?
Is it surprising, or is it the Black, you know how we get as Black folks when we hear something that we knew since like forever? We're like, yeah, listen, man, we've been trying to tell you, like, we get that type of excitement behind it, but this is not shocking to us. We've been done told you that this person is not that. Well, no, they have to be, because they're a member of the NAACP. Oh, no, they have to be. Why? Because they have Black kids and they have Black friends. And, you know, no, because like they buy kente cloth.
Right.
Like, what?
You need to tell, hey, Dope Black Thoughts coming to you. We're going to sell kente cloth.
Yeah. Don't start.
All right, no. Apparently not. My bad.
Oh, that's on you, brother. Go ahead. Lead it up.
Kente Cloth Initiative has been stopped due to we are not selling kente cloth. Sorry.
Yeah. So I don't know. What are y'all doing for self-care? Right? Like, times are still crazy.
Sister Gallegos, I'll tell you what I'm doing. But Sister Gallegos.
What do I want to know?
You know what? Cut him off again. Jaden, don't even just cut off his mic. I want him blacked out.
See, this is why we can't get ahead as a people.
Well, sometimes.
But Stefania, I'm so sorry that you were so rudely interrupted. But please go ahead and tell us what you're doing for self-care.
You know, there's nothing specific I'm doing for self-care. I'm just staying busy. Unfortunately, just staying as busy as I can. Now, I do try and get in the massage every now and then, but come on, enlighten me. What should we be doing?
No. This is your own personal prescription.
My own personal prescription.
Yeah.
Yeah. Staying busy, occasional massage, and wine, red wine.
See?
No, I'll be straight up. I go for walks. I go for walks with some headphones, and I can play, and it's like I can disconnect. I can listen to my favorite podcast, which I'm hooked on, Dope Black Thoughts. I listen to my favorite podcast, and I can go for a walk in a good hour. I can go and I can remove myself from the nonsense for an hour, hour and a half. I can just go for a walk.
I agree with that. I do the same thing. Audiobooks. Even
then, the people out who are also going for walks, they're also trying to disconnect. So it's a wave. Like, right. I see you. hey, I see you.
Right.
And I go for a walk and just get out of just disconnect. And then I come home and I deal with a shit.
Shade, what are you doing?
And mess up the entire walk, right?
And then just like, oh.
Back to the computer. Hashim, what are you doing to
Are we? Yeah.
Do we
Sure,
need to come
I'll be
and
there at
rescue
6.
you?
No, so it's a multitude of things. But I definitely love being outside. I want to get more into the walking. Like, I appreciate sunlight. There's something healing about sunlight that everyone needs to get.
Lots of vitamin D.
Yep, it does. And we need to be in the sun more because our melanin blocks some of the, like, your skin is how you receive vitamin D through the natural, one of the natural ways.
Did you know
and
that?
The melanin in our skin rejects some of that. So we have to spend a little bit longer in the sun. We're higher rates of vitamin C deficiency. So I encourage everyone to get that checked out.
Yeah.
So I like to be outside.
Which can be a problem with depression.
Yes, and it can lead to depression, and depression leads to overeating. Like, it's just all this type of stuff. One thing affects the other. It's a grandfather clock. You think it's just a little raggedy spring, but you pull that spring out, the clock stops working.
Yeah.
So I try to be outside. I need to do something because I also have this fight in me. I went to go look for handguns. I want to replace a handgun. And I went, and I'm looking for a 90 M&P, Smith & Wesson M&P Shield 9mm caliber. That's what I want. If anyone has leads somewhere I can find one, please let me know, because all these damn novice gun owners have cleared off the racks on this.
And it's going to get worse because the NRA declared bankruptcy. So go ahead. Sorry.
They did.
Booyah! But I like to go out to like places like Parker. And buy my lotto ticket, Franktown, and buy my lotto ticket. Stop by a few gun shops, sporting goods there, with my Biden-Harris face mask on, baby. And I don't know what's wrong with me. And I messed up and told my mom about it one day. And you know how mamas are, right? And you know how you are as a mama. When your child tells you something and you're like, what the boop?
Right.
That silence you get in your voice in the story, like you just, that silence. I'm like, listen.
Why are you doing that?
And you're like, you raised me.
Right. But on a safer, relaxing type of thing, music. I'm into music. I try to listen to the old stuff back when people actually played instruments and took voice lessons to know how to sing. Everybody wasn't just riffing and running.
My lawn. This is hippity hoppity. You and your hippity hoppity back when
I'm going to tell you one time that I'm shooting my water hose on you. And I also like to partake in the cannabis. I like edibles. I'm an edible dude. Or vape. I like vape pens so I can control it. And I'm not a fan of the smell of burning cannabis. So those work for me. But yesterday, and I like to do that and like start going into listening to music or watching television, a movie when that happens. But yesterday it got the best of me. I started watching WandaVision because I like Marvel.
How was that?
Oh,
I don't know, my brother. I got to the first episode and the edible said, I'm here now.
Oh, he did. He's like, first episode, he's like, I don't know what to go.
You knew that was coming. Come on, Carter. You knew that was coming.
But the edible was like, yeah, not today. So I'm starting this at 7 p.m. yesterday. Next thing I know, I'm waking up. It's like almost 1 a.m. and my big ass is curled up on my love seat. And so all day today, I'm recovering because my back just ain't right. So
you need a massage.
I need a massage. So be careful with your self-care because self-care can go wrong.
Yeah. When it's not done properly.
Right.
Get to your bed next time you eat something and watch WandaVision in the bed.
In the bed.
You need to know your limits. Take your little brownie and eat it in the bed.
Thank you. See how those mom skills are transferable.
I tell you what, we are watching. Me and my lady friend are watching Succession. We just started watching something called Succession.
You and who?
That's an old one, isn't it? Succession?
It's old. Here's the deal. I can't watch one episode and be done. Like I'm not that.
Wait for it to
So if you go, Sister Gallegos is like, you need to watch this. I go, okay, fine. I have to watch it from point A all the way through.
Now, if you take an edible, you won't.
Well, I tell you what was it? The Irishman? The Irishman? That 3.5 hour epic?
Did you like that? I couldn't get it. I agree with you. I'm a binger too.
Good.
Really?
I don't know. It's the Irishman. I might not watch it, but yeah, I don't know. I just encourage you, like, find what works for you for your self-care. Do that. Carve some time out. Disconnect. That's also some self-care for me. Also, some self-care might be this upcoming weekend. Before we go, I want to give you all, like, we're coming up on the celebration. We're in the week of the celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And this upcoming weekend, they will be handing out, there's no parade, but I know that their Brother Jeff, Representative Field, Senator Field, Senator Rhonda Field.
We're about to get canceled. You're about to get canceled.
Nah,
I was going to see if we can have
charge it to my head, not to my heart.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, because she knows where I stand on instigating Michael Carter ass. But anyway, come out 10 a.m., 10 to 4. They are giving away dinners. The goal is to give away 1,000 dinners. It is in the 1400 block of Dayton in Aurora, Colorado, zip code 80010. I believe
after we're done, we'll post that. We'll post
it up. Right. But I believe it's like 1460 something. If you can see the big opportunity center sign, come out there Monday, this upcoming Monday. And go to brotherjeff.com if you want to register to sign up to serve, or if you're in need or want to deliver as well. But that's giving back is something that I like to do as well. That's also a stress relief for me. But you guys have any final thoughts? We got to wrap this up and head on out.
Marcus is over there giving us Marcus ain't even on the podcast, and he's still giving us the
right. We will have the movie, the DBT, the reading list and the movie list since we brought up movies. But
we got movies, we got a reading list. Are we going to do extra special episode of Different Strokes on the inauguration on Wednesday?
Are you asking?
Inquiring minds want to know.
I'd like to thank everybody for signing up and joining us tonight on Dope Black Thoughts. Like that's housekeeping stuff. Like, I don't know.
All right.
That's behind the scenes.
Self-care. Eat your cornbread.
How's your gout working out, baby? Because I just been curious, like, what the
hell? Three.
Right there. No, that's right there.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. Be safe.
Right there.
Love, soul.
I'm going solo.
In Kevin's words, DBT out.
DBT out.
Out. Right.